like Wayne says, we can't afford to have a high cost transfer that just doesn't work at the minute. But
Yeah,
I remember Darren Neals a couple of years ago. I seem to remember him coming out with a comment like on the transfer situation. He was saying we're okay at the minute, sort of buying players to improve the squad, but at some point it's got to change. We have to trade players, like what Andy was saying before, and we've been poor at it. Now I don't think he was meaning trading players of the likes of Sean Longstaff. I think he was meaning the high value players who no Newcastle fan wants to see or wants to see happen. But at some point it's going to have to.
yeah,
That's why we're never going to grow as a club until we start doing both aspects of the transfer window. I mean, our turnover is what 320 million. It'll go up this season because we're in the Champions League, but we're not guaranteed to be in the Champions League again the following season.
Mm.
You see what I mean? So this is where,
Mm.
again, I think I heard Win say, and everybody sort of went ballistic. If somebody come in with 150 million bid for Isak, or 130, 140, you would have to seriously consider it. Even though, as a Newcastle fan, not one wants to see the lad leave. But as I say, it's a two-way street, and you have to consider these sort of things. The business won't work any other way. We're not getting sponsors in left, right, and centre that's taking our turnover up. So every time we're in for a player where Man City are in for him, like Kuznets of late, where they're going to go because they can pay them more than we can.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, bless her. Sophie B's in the chat and she's going absolutely ballistic about obviously what we're talking about, and this is obviously she's repeating herself about tell me a player. What I'm on about is the fact that we can't allow players. I mean, I tell you what, name me a sellable asset that we've got that we haven't already sold. You know, that's the issue for me. There isn't many unless you're going to start selling some of your higher players, your higher proven players, and that's what I said. But what you can't afford to do is just give your players away when they come to run the contracts down. You know, Callum Wilson, you know, he can still do a job for somebody, but he's walked out of the club on a free. Now, you know, for me, the amount of work that he did last season, unfortunately, he got injured. But could we not have thought about moving him on when we had a chance to get him out the door? That's what I'm saying. You know,
Well,
and
we
there's going to
did.
be a number of
Wasn't he
these
linked to
players coming up.
Atletico Madrid
What was that?
18 months ago or so? Didn't Atletico Madrid get interested in him 18 months ago?
Well, there was a couple of
Yeah.
European sides that were inquired about availability, and they were told he wasn't available.
Well, I think part of that might be down to, over the last couple of windows, the PSR situation, which it's just, I just really hate it that we spend all our time talking about finances rather than football because of the way things are. But it's not so much that it's more the fact that we didn't have anybody suitable in the club that could fill his boots in Andy's position, and then how much would it cost to replace him in that window for someone that's competent?
surely last summer was the period. I mean, okay, you got a couple of goals last season, but the trend was there last season. You would play a couple of games, pick up an injury, then you'd have a long-term injury. Then
I'm not.
And the season before that, though, Andy, you know, this is what I'm saying. You know, you're looking at players. You know, Trippier. You know, there was a potential that we could have moved Trippier on. You know, see. I mean, I love Trippier. Don't get me wrong. I think that lad is, you know, he's a leader on the pitch. He's a leader off the pitch. I don't care about what's in the social media side with his social life. Not interested in any of that. As long as it doesn't affect his game, doesn't affect his mental approach. But there comes a time where these players are just going to run out of steam because they're old. They're too old to play anywhere else. Now, that's what I'm saying. We've got to stop becoming a club where we are too loyal to certain individuals.
Does this not come back to the director of football role in that Eddie doesn't want to sell players? That's obvious. He's got players who he wants to keep in his squad, and Wilson, I think, and Trippier are part of that. If you have a strong and a director of football who's in charge, he turns around and looks at the finances and says, no, hang on, this guy's 33 years old. We're getting offered £15 million. We're going to take it.
But last season,
well, they did that with Lloyd Kelly.
we had Gahey deal. We were willing to pay 75 million. Could we have not let Wilson go at that point and says, right, we're going to reprioritise things. We're going to bring in a £40 million striker and a £30 million centre back, a young one, and we'll take it from there, and then we'll reevaluate things rather than paying someone $2.5 million a year to sit on the bench.
Don't forget to smash the like button. It helps us a lot to keep growing. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, activate all notifications, that way you get notified every time we go live. And don't forget, you can become a member, get exclusive content, access to all of our live shows on demand at the time that you want. And also, of course, giveaways every month, sometimes multiple giveaways a month. So stay tuned for that. Check it out. Help support the channel. It's a small fee. And of course, you help us and grow. If you hate the Mackhams, smash that like button.
To save the bleeding races. When we got the wheel put on, away we went again. But them that had their noses broke, they came back our him. Some went to the dispensary, and some to Dr. Gibbs's, and some to the infirmary.